we at? Does it say it? It does say live on YouTube. Fantastic. Let me go ahead and close this down for you folks so I can turn off the sound over here as a distraction. And hey, it is Kurt Von Annen. Welcome to the Mañana Nomás morning check-in. And today is October 30th, 2020. This is a Friday. And I am back. Kind of interesting. I took a contract with the County of Los Angeles and I was in charge of training 1,200 technicians to oversee the IT portions of the election process during the November 3rd elections, right? And of course, the November 3rd elections in LA County is over 11 days, right? So they have some poll stations that are open for 5 days and they have some that are open for 11 days. And training those people was a remarkable experience. This whole event was unique in that the way that I got contacted to do the contract. So the way they found me, the way I said yes, the onboarding process, that was a learning experience because I'm not one to usually do these short-term contracts. So there was a lot of onboarding I wasn't expecting, but I've got that done. And then, you know, they didn't hire Mañana Nomás, they hired Kurt Von Annen. And so had to do the background check and the drug test and all that stuff. And, you know, obviously that worked because I got the gig. And I just want to share, and I said this earlier, you know, while I was under the contract, I was doing these sporadic updates. And again, if you've been watching these on the daily, you know, I knew that I was going to miss a couple of days. That's why I made that announcement back on the 19th about missing some time while doing this contract. But the contract ended yesterday, and I wanted to make sure I got back into my routine and did a morning check-in for you guys. And I was a little overwhelmed, to be honest with you. And here's what I was overwhelmed with. One, I got there and the curriculum wasn't quite ready. Training was supposed to start the very next day. So I got there on the 19th and first classes were going to be on the 20th. And they were still finalizing curriculum and order of events and things like that. And so there was that issue. There were trainers that had arrived as contract trainers that were not qualified to be trainers. It was pretty evident that they wouldn't have the skill set to follow through on what would be required on this particular project. It also I found that the project was very dynamic, very fluid. Some trainers do really good in a static environment where they can memorize a script and just lecture, right? And then other trainers like myself do really good, you know, being in your authentic self, being fluid, you know, being able to improv when required, deal with on the spot changes, changes in policy, changes in procedure, changes in content. This was on the daily at this particular event because the election process, if we think, you know, if you just really think about what you see on the news, you'll see that there are differences, right? Cities are passing different ordinances, counties are passing ordinances, chain of custody and security issues are very, very important. And so a lot of what I trained dealt in the security and the handling of voter information at the centers. And, you know, while I can't share all of the content with you because that would be a breach of security, I will tell you it was really, really unique to be able to profile, to be able to center my skill set into a new environment. So I'm known as being like a power sports expert or a learning and membership expert on the web, right? So obviously if I'm a learning and management, you know, learning and membership management website expert online, you know, I've got some social chops. I've got some, you know, IT chops. I'm able to work with software. I'm able to think in terms of planning, right? So project management and things like that to make these projects happen. But when I got into this atmosphere, like, what do I know about elections? Well, I didn't think I knew much. Found out I did. What do I know about election equipment? Well, I found out I can learn it pretty stinking quick. What do I know about, you know, iOS software? Because this whole thing runs on an Apple platform and I'm a PC guy. I found out I can figure that out pretty quick. But what I really found out was, you know, and you know it, like, so I knew that continuing to work on my leadership, continuing to work on my personal development, to continue working on goal setting, you know, and project management skill sets, I always knew that that was important. But when I got thrust into the heat of the moment, when there was a room full of trainers and somebody had to be the leader. Somebody had to stand up and execute. Someone had to make something happen. I had that skill set. And not only that, but I got to profile myself nicely from that position to help others. So, like I said, there was curriculum that wasn't quite glued together on the 19th. So on the morning of the 20th, they were like, "Hey, Kurt, we really like the idea that you kicked in at the end of the day yesterday. Could you just go ahead and maybe teach this class and then show the other trainers kind of your methodology on how you put this together?" Okay. I was hired to be the trainer, not the curriculum developer. Right. And so, you could squeak, you could be nervous, you could be, non-confident, right? You could be meek, or you can draw a line in the sand and you can say, you know what, I can do anything for a day. And that's one of my chants, man. I say that, like, if I'm in a Spartan race and I'm having a bad time, I'll say, okay, get over it. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You can do anything for a day, right? And so on the 20th, I went in there and I did anything for a day. I rose to the occasion. I was personable. I was flexible. I smiled a lot. I was my authentic self. I had a good time with the class. I made some jokes about riding wheelies on the highway with my motorcycle and things like that. And I gave it some flair that is definitely, pardon me, the Kurt flair in a room. And it felt really, really good to be back in front of a live class again. So there was a lot of pluses there. But what really happened was I established myself as a 360-degree leader in this environment. The county recognized that I was a leader for what I did. AT&T, who has the contract with the county, recognized that I was a leader for what I did. The other trainers on the team recognized that I was the leader of that group to provide this service to AT&T and to the county. And it put me in a unique position to be able to basically, be the go-to guy for the next 10 days of this contract. And it was good. It was a really good learning experience. Super, super thankful for the work that I've done, for the assets I've been given, for the networks that I've been able to grow and maintain, especially through this COVID crisis, through this pandemic. I think about, the conversations I've had with Jake Ballantyne, with Dave Gambrell, with Greg Kettner, with Michael Cooper, Austin Gray, John LaForte, Andrew Eggleton, Tammy Joy, my sister, Kimberly. All of these are voices. This is like a board of directors, right? In a professional, personal life hybrid that help guide the effort and the decisions and the things that make for success. Now, what's cool is, I've been looking for work, right? So am I growing Mañana no Mas? Yes. Do I have the Power Sport Academy? Absolutely. Is there another project I'm working on that I'm completely thrilled about? Yes, there is. There's all of these things. But would I like to have a job that pays, the north end of six figures and provides security for my family and gives me the ability to maybe downgrade some of these projects to hobbies and grow them over an extended time? Yeah, that'd be great too. And so when I say that I'm looking for a good position like that, I'm not looking for a handout. I've got the skill set. I just proven I have the skill set. People at AT&T, oh my goodness, how is a guy like you available? How did they find you? I go, I don't know. How did they find me? I got an email, right? They were shocked. How are you unemployed? Then other people, how are you unemployed? How come no one's picked you up yet? And I can't figure out, how do you take what they experienced? How do you take that inner self and put that into a resume or a cover letter in a way that makes sense, but also carries with it a little piece of humility, right? To be a braggart, to pat yourself on the back all the time, to, I run the world, blah, blah, blah. It's not attractive. People aren't going to want that. People want the skill set. They want what you're going to bring to the table, but they don't want you to be a jerk about it. Right. And so how do you do that? And so I thought, awesome. So AT&T's reached out a little bit and said, hey, what kind of things you interested in? Where would you like to live? And when we have positions available, we'd like to put you on a call list. Well, that's fantastic, right? That's flattering. But it doesn't help me cash a check next month. Right. So I don't know what that's going to turn into. I know that there'll be positions that will, come available with Los Angeles County, when they have other events coming up, I know that they want me to come back. So that'll be good. So the networking was great, and making those contacts was fantastic. And just like I mentioned all those names just a few moments ago, there's a couple more names that'll get added to that list because I did make relationships at this event that I feel will last past the event. So that was cool. Now it's time to get caught up. So today's my first day back in the workspace. You know, I got all this going on. I've been online. I've been on the phone a lot. Good news is there's a couple of other possible employment opportunities that have crept to the top. It's got me looking at properties on Zillow, right? Seeing what the house values are and how that's going to dictate my request for salary. And it's super, super interesting to see this unfold, right? To take 10 days away, really accomplish something pretty spectacular. I mean, I'm pretty proud of the work that we did over the last 10 days. And so take that work, put that in your back pocket, right? That's done. That's a living experience that I can take to any future event with me, right? So I've got that. And then I get back into the groove here, and it's like I had a 9 o'clock meeting right away with a client. I had additional phone calls, job referrals to follow up on. And it's just kind of been a little bit of a hoot to get back into it. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. So today I think we're going to do a little barbecuing, and Hayden's going to go ride his dirt bike in the afternoon. So it's great. Folks, it's Friday. So, you know, if there's any way that you can turn off the computer, turn off Zoom, get an early start on a weekend, relax, and just take a moment. Do this one favor for me. And this is something I struggle with myself, is turn off the computer, turn the ringer off on your phone, step away from the wife and kids or the husband and kids or whatever you've got, right? And just get a quiet moment and ask yourself, how am I doing? You know, I'm busy, but am I effective? Do I have direction? Ask yourself, you know, do I have direction? Do I have a goal? Is my rudder in the water, right? Am I directing my path? And then ask yourself, do I need to tweak it a couple degrees, starboard or port, to get going in the right direction, right? Sometimes we can be working so hard and striving so hard and moving forward so fast that we don't realize we've lost sight of the trajectory and we're going in a direction we don't want to go. So that's one. The other thing is, be realistic with yourself. Man, if you're doing Netflix and chill and watching YouTube throughout the day instead of focusing on advancing yourself, I'm going to charge you for just this much. You know, figure something out. What is it that you want to do? What would help steer you, and what would start to lower the rudder into the water and help you to steer more where you want to go, right? Remember, you know, that's that adage, you know, the boat can be moving, right? But just a couple of degrees on the rudder can change the end destination by a long way, right? And so think about what you've really been up to. Give yourself an honest analysis. You know, don't beat yourself up. Know that tomorrow's the first day of the rest of your life, right? Do you need to take more time for yourself? Do you need to get more exercise? Do you need to just, you know, go for more walks around the block, get on your bicycle? You know, if gyms are available in your area, do you need to go to the gym for a class session? Be honest with yourself, right? So give yourself that outlet. Give yourself that physical outlet. Give yourself a mental outlet. When's the last time you read something for pleasure? When's the last time you read something for personal growth? When's the last time you wrote something? Kind of make these analyses of yourself and ask yourself if you're being, you know, I say be your authentic self. And it's so weird because I hear Andrew Eggleton say the same thing so often. But when me and Andrew are having a conversation and we're talking about be your authentic self, it's usually from a presentation standpoint, right? It's usually from you're presenting yourself on camera or to an audience, and you want to make sure that you're not You want to make sure that you're not play acting, right? You want to make sure that you're not imitating somebody else. You want to make sure that you're being yourself. But how many times are we play acting or imitating someone else to ourselves? Sometimes it's easy for us to convince ourselves that we're doing more than we are, or that we aren't doing enough. It goes both ways. Sometimes you just need to cut yourself some slack. Sometimes you need to double down and really make something happen. So what I'm going to ask you to do for this weekend is take a moment, like I said, do an assessment. Ask yourself, what have I really done? What haven't I done? What could I do better? And in that moment, you'll be tempted to beat yourself up. I'm gonna beg you, don't beat yourself up. Okay? Do not beat yourself up about it. You can't fix yesterday, but you can adjust tomorrow, right? You can adjust starting right now. And if you adjust starting right now, that helps adjust tomorrow, right? Remember, you get your rudder in the water and just a tweak, just a couple degrees, port or starboard, changes the direction of the entire vessel, right? And you're the vessel. So as we start this weekend, be a little introspective, start thinking things through. I'll tell you this, when I got down there to do this contract with the county and AT&T, I thought to myself, what am I doing? I don't even want to do this. This is a mess. I could just go home. And then I thought, and bear with me, please. I'm a skilled public speaker. People should be paying me $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, for 2 to 3 hours of my time to come in and do a keynote talk. And I'm just being real. I'm not trying to sound like a braggart, right? But I should have a rate that's like, anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, depending on the event and the travel and stuff like that to go do something. And here I am saying yes to this contract, 10 days, being paid by the hour to go and be a trainer somewhere. There's lots of reasons I said yes. One was, be honest, needed the dang money, man. I needed to get some funding rolling into my house. Second, if you don't exercise your tools, they begin to get dull. And I hadn't taught in front of a live class in a long time. And a lot of my speaking friends and peers out there lost the ability to teach or speak to a real audience in person. So they understand, right? So I have this opportunity to teach classes up to 50 people in person. So yeah, I definitely wanted to get out there and practice my skill again, right? And get fluid in public speaking in front of an audience again. So money, opportunity, working on my skill sets. And then I knew that there would be a stretch and that I would find a way to gain something from it. I knew that there'd be a way to learn through the experience, something I could take to the next step. And all of that came true. So I took it. But it took me 10 days to earn what I could earn in an afternoon as a paid public speaker somewhere. And that is hard. It's hard to swallow. And then you have to think to yourself, if I keep taking gigs, getting paid by the hour to be a corporate trainer somewhere, how is anybody going to justify paying me $5,000 to go give a keynote somewhere? And I think these are the things that speakers fight with a lot. What makes it okay to do a free talk for one group and then charge $3,000 to another group and charge $5,000 to a third group? It's just the nature of the industry, right? And there's not a lot of standardization to it. So as you're doing this evaluation, as you're doing this needs assessment on yourself, and you're saying, was I effective? Was I productive? Was I this? Was I that? I'm going to ask you, as you do this for yourself, to not think about the funding up front. Don't prioritize things based on the dollars. Prioritize things based on result and effort and work. And then as a second level, maybe start thinking about, how can I leverage these skill sets, or how can you leverage your skill sets to improve or increase the financial side of the equation? And then I'd love it if if you could kick in here with comments. I'm going to post this video in a couple of other places, but if you could post this with comments as to your thoughts or what you're doing or anything like that, I would love some interaction on these videos to know if it's making a difference, if it's adding value to you at all, helping things be more clear. But I'll tell you, as I look at all of the work that I've done, when I look at this new project I'm working on, when I look at the Mañana, the Power Sport Academy, when I look at Heidi's Critter Sitter, right? I built Heidi a site for her dog stuff, and when I look at all of these projects, it's like wow. There's been a lot of good stuff going here, right? And so effectiveness and productivity, absolutely. Sharpness of tools, absolutely. Networking, on point, right? So I don't want to beat myself up on that, but then I look at the funding and I look at the financial side of things and I go, okay, we got to start realigning prioritization on effort and productivity versus return on investment. And I'm trying to not think like an employee, right? I'm trying to be like a little bit of a Robert Kiyosaki right now. And I'm trying to say, focus on the work, focus on being productive, focus on efficiencies, focus on relationships and networking. And then near the end of all that, when you got everything firing on all cylinders, how do you leverage that or pull the trigger on someone's wallet to make that fill your wallet? And then that's kind of that missing element, right, for a lot of folks. So bear with me, stick with me on through some of this messaging. I'm really trying to add value to you here, and I hope that you're starting to see this. And again, I'd love the feedback, the comments, the questions, anything you got. Like I said, this video will be reposted in a couple of different areas. So jump in, kick in, and we will talk to you soon. Enjoy your weekend. I hope I gave you something to think about. All right, guys. I say it all the time. I'm going to say it again. I love you.